Welcome back, guys. This is NealSoul again, and this is part 2 of the video series Mortal Kombat for Beginners, where we're trying to teach you to start from beginner level and become good with any character you want to, any variation you want to, and just basically learn how to fight, have fun, and impress your friends. So in part 2, we're going to start off talking about some more basic concepts. We're going to go over meter building, stamina, and interactables. Then we'll go from that. We'll talk about defense a little in depth. We'll talk about some defensive strategies, things of that nature. Finally, we'll wrap it up just by talking about some general fight strategies. We'll talk about how to train, really how to train now that we know the basics. Really, how do you get your character ready to go online and win those fights, guys? So just bear with us. We'll get into all of that, and by the end of this video series, you should be a much better player than when you started. If you're not, then I'm not doing my job. So, just anyway, bear with me. Like I said, this is my first video series, but I'm enjoying the process. So I hope you guys learning something. So, without further ado, let's just jump right in. All right, welcome back, guys. We're here in the practice mode again. We're gonna start off by going over meter and important uses of meter. The meters below each character are flashing red, and there's 3 separate meters if you look closely. Okay, we're gonna go over the uses of each bar of meter. Okay, the first bar meter, or 1 bar meter I should say, is used to pretty much add power to one of your special moves in order to blow through your opponent's attack and to add more damage and combo potential to your attack. So now you remember Scorpion's teleport is down back X. Okay, now by pushing R2, when I push X, I meter burn it. That's what we call meter burning when you add meter. Okay, and you see it makes it more powerful, and it pops Sub-Zero up in the air for combo potential. And so you can pretty much do most special moves in this game. You can add meter to, and you can see different results. But for the most part, they're going to be used to blow through your opponent's attack and add damage and combo potential like you see here. Okay, 2 bars of meter will be used to perform combo breakers, and I'm going to attempt to demonstrate that for you here. See if I can get Sub-Zero to cooperate. Okay, there you go. See, that's a combo breaker. He was hitting me, and I held forward and R2 in order to break that combo. Okay, you need 2 bars of meter. It's going to use up 2 bars of meter to break a combo. But a lot of times, this will save your life, okay? But just understand, for the purposes that we're talking about right now, you need 2 bars of meter to do combo breakers and to break combos. Okay? Now, let's quickly go over one more thing. 3 bars of meter is used to do the X-ray moves. X-rays moves are done by L2 and R2 pushed together. It's real simple, okay? And X-ray moves, they vary from character to character, but they're very powerful moves. They blow through your opponent's attack, and most of them do between 32-34% damage, okay? Very high damage for a very simple combo. You won't see a lot of high-level players using X-rays because they can pretty much get 34, even 40, 50% off of 1 or 2 bars of meter. But for beginner players, X-rays are really good when you're able to build up your meter. And you build meter in this game pretty much by just hit and getting hit, just to put it in simple terms. So you'll build meter as you fight. So as you build it, you have to decide how you want to use it. So remember, 1 bar meter is going to pretty much add an EX move, 2 bars of meter for a combo breaker, and 3 bars for your X-ray, okay? So now let's go over your stamina bar at the top real quick. Your stamina bar is what you need to run in at your opponent. You see I run in at Sub-Zero right here, and it depletes as I run in. Now when it finishes running out, I can no longer run at him. I have to wait till it fills back up, okay? So you need your stamina bar in order to run in, okay? And running in is good. It's another option instead of just jumping at your opponent. Okay. Now, the other thing that you need to understand about your stamina bar is you need stamina in order to break combos. So when you're doing those combo breakers, even if you have 2 bars of meter, if you do not have any stamina, you will not perform the combo breaker. So you need to understand that if your stamina is depleted, you cannot perform a combo breaker. All right, last thing we'll go over real quick is we'll go over interactables. Okay, interactables are on the back of the stage, and you can interact with these by just pushing the R1 button, as you see Scorpion here. All right, if you notice, when I'm next to something that I can interact with, you'll see R1 flash right below my stamina meter. Okay, so really as you play through each stage, you'll find different spots. You can jump off some things you saw there. You can throw this old lady right here. You can just do a lot of things on each different stage. So you just have to kind of experiment. Once you know the stage, you pretty much figure out what you can interact with. Interactables are blockable. They can be blocked. They're not automatic hits. And but they're just something to kind of, vary your offense a little bit, maybe throw your opponent off just a little bit. Okay, so let me check my notes here, see if I covered everything in this section. Yeah, I think I did. Okay, so that's just basics. Okay, so now that we understand a little bit about that, we'll go talking about some defense and some defensive strategies. Okay, here we are again. Now let's go over some of the basic need-to-knows of defense. Now we've already gone over blocking as far as holding the R2 button, standing and kneeling, okay? Pretty general, you're gonna need to do this a lot. This is basically how you fend off your opponent's attacks. And you're gonna have to read your opponents to know which level to block at, high or low. That's basically your best number one option on defense. But you can also backdash. Backdashing is done by pressing backwards twice on the D-pad or the analog stick, whichever one you use. I use the D-pad. And backdashing is basically a way to create space from your opponent. It's really good for just maybe wanting to set up that one move, get that space, throw that spear out so they don't jump on your head. You don't want to throw a spear necessarily this close, because if they block it, they'll punish you. But if you want to just kind of tap back real quick, get you some space, backdashing is real effective for that. It helps you escape a lot of moves, and once you backdash, you can also run in real quick. So it's a kind of a give and take. But now notice you also need stamina to backdash. Notice when I backdash, I lose a half a bar of stamina. So that's real important to know. If you backdash, you're not going to have your full stamina to run in as far as you might want to sometimes. So just keep that in mind. And remember, we also need a full stamina bar in order to do breakers. So just kind of understand that about backdashing. Okay, and there's also teching throws. Okay, you remember I told you that throws will pretty much grab any character and they cannot be blocked. Okay, but I'm going to attempt to demonstrate what you can do about a throw. Okay, I'm going to have Sub-Zero try to grab us here. Okay, so now you notice if I do nothing, he grabs. Okay, but now if I push square right when he grabs me, I can break that throw. See how I did that? I'm pushing square right as he's grabbing me. So this is good when you know players, you're playing against somebody that you know they're going to grab you. Just hit square as soon as they grab you, and it'll release. And so that's real effective. It's kind of hard to do on reaction. You kind of have to read your opponent, if you know what I mean. But like I said, very, very effective checking throws, and that's done by pushing square as soon as you are grabbed. And now you cannot be holding block and push square. If you're holding block, you will not take the throw. You have to have released the block button and hit square in order to take the throw. Okay, well now you will say, well, you've done all that and the character still knocks you down. So you say, well, NealSoul, I'm on the ground now. So now what are my options while I'm on the ground? How do I get off of this pressure? What are my options? What can I do? Okay, So now basically when you get knocked down, you've got a couple of options, okay? Your first option is to just hold the block button and rise and defend yourself by blocking high or low, okay? That's pretty obvious, and you'll do that a lot, okay? Now, the second example of what you can do is called an armored wake up, okay? Remember how we were talking about the EX moves earlier? Well, when you get knocked down, you can wake up with doing a meter burn move off the ground, and you can actually attack your opponent that way. So I'm going to attempt to demonstrate that here for you real quick. Let's see if I can get Sub-Zero to knock us down. Okay, now he's going to knock me down, and I'm going to try to meter burn or teleport here. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna try it again. You kind of have to get the timing down for it. There it is. See, he sweeps me down, and right as I'm rising, I do the teleport. Well, I'm trying to do it. I'm not really being very good at it right now, but don't worry about it. Actually, I've got a clip that I can show you that demonstrates it very well. So check this out. Okay, now the next option you also have when you get knocked down is you can actually delay your wake up. Okay, so by delaying your wake up, you actually lay on the ground for a half a second more, and that's actually effective sometimes in throwing your opponent off. Okay, so we're gonna try to demonstrate that now. And you delay your wake up by holding down when you get knocked down. So you see when he knocks me down, see how Scorpion just hops right back up? Okay, and I'm gonna delay my wake up and watch this. See how he kind of pokes his head? So he's laying on the ground for a little bit longer. It doesn't seem like a big deal right here, but when somebody's on top of you throwing blows, and they're trying to get you right when you stand up, it can throw their timing off if you delay your wake up sometimes. And you do that just by holding down when you're on the ground. You see he's gonna, while he's laying there, he's gonna poke his head up. So I just delayed my wake up by about half a second. It doesn't seem like much right now, but trust me, in a real match, when you delay your wake up, they can whiff moves by standing over you when you delay your wake up, and you can actually punish them when you rise up, when you finally do rise up. Now, the one thing about delaying your wake up is that you cannot do an EX move off the ground once you have delayed your wake up. Okay, so just understand that once you delay your wake up, you can no longer wake up with the EX move and blow through their attack. So once you wake up, when you delay your wake up, basically what I'm trying to say is that you have to defend at that point. Okay, so it's kind of a strategic thing, but just know that it's an option. Okay, and now remember we were talking about the armored wake ups that we demonstrated a moment ago. Now you have to be careful because good players will bait those armored wake ups. They'll come up to you and they'll block, and you'll do a armored move thing that you're going to hit them, and they will actually block your move, and that leaves you wide open for a combo. And I've also got a clip to demonstrate that right here. Okay, so now we're gonna go over one more quick option you have when you get knocked down. You can actually wake up and throw your opponent. So like if in the clip we just witnessed before, the guy baited my wake up by running up to me and blocking. So if you feel like they're gonna try to bait your wake up, you can actually just throw them. And so I'm gonna demonstrate that for you. Sub-Zero's gonna knock me down, and as soon as I get up, I'm just gonna hit the grab button and throw them. So if you know they're gonna knock you down and hold block, just wake up and throw them. And that's very effective. So just know that that's an option. You'll be surprised how many times you'll catch people just knocking you down and running up to you and holding block. And because they're expecting you to get up and push buttons and they're gonna block and defend. Well, if they're already blocking, when you get up, you just throw them, and it can throw them off. And next time they run up to you, they'll have some doubt as to whether they can just run up to you and block. So it just kind of creates a mind game for the opponent. So basically, that's the kind of the concepts of defense. The wake up game, real important to Mortal Kombat. It's pretty much what Mortal Kombat is built on. And pretty much as far as the defensive concepts go, those are the basics. And so now we're just going to basically go on and talk about just some general practice strategy. Okay guys, so now we've gone over the basics of the game. We've kind of got a feel for how we're going to play, how to train, how to learn our characters. So now we need to know how to practice. Okay, now you've been in practice mode, okay, and you know you've done what you can do. So now you want to test yourself. Now I'm going to just say this. Now a lot of people, they like to practice by playing the computer. They go play the towers, and I don't really recommend playing the computer as far as practicing to really become a good player. The computer will teach you bad habits. They'll let you get away with things that a person will not let you get away with. A computer won't adapt to your fighting style, things of that nature. So really, honestly guys, don't be afraid to go online. Okay, I know it can be very daunting task. It's something a lot of people don't like to do, but we're trying to get better, and that's what we're going to do. So now I'm just going to go over the modes that I recommend most as far as practicing online. Okay, so we're going to show those real quick. First off, we're going to go to the rooms here, and we enter a room, and now this is where you want to be to practice against other people. You go in this room and you can scroll down and you see the various name tags and it shows the records. All right, the thing is, don't get too hung up on the records. This is not a rank mode, but you find a lot of good players in here. The thing about this mode as compared to rank is that you have the option when you play somebody in this mode to keep rematching them, okay? And that's real important for adaptation. You want to learn what that player is doing, what you can do differently, and vice versa. As that player adapts to you, they become better. So this is a really good mode for just practicing. Don't worry about losing too much. You're gonna lose some games. It happens to everybody. But like I said, this is not a rank mode, and it's not like it really matters in the first place because we're trying to get better. But this is a place you can go. You kind of do want to look at the records because you want to find somebody that, you know, maybe isn't on a real high level that maybe you can match up with. Somebody around your skill level, okay, after you play a few games. So this is a real good place to go. I recommend it as far as practicing against people. I recommend that mode there. Let's see, the other mode that I recommend is actually King of the Hill. Now, King of the Hill is a little bit like ranked in that you're facing the guy one-on-one and you don't get a rematch. But the thing about King of the Hill that I recommend for practice purposes is that you're in a lobby and you get to watch other players fight. Now, this is real important as far as your development. You want to fight, but you also want to watch what other players do using some of the characters that you want to use. So now, as you see, we're going to jump into this lobby here. And when you first get into the lobby, it's not going to show the match, but when the next match comes on, it'll show. Okay, but just want to demonstrate this is where you want to be. You can watch fighters fight in here. You can watch various things they do. You can pick up on habits, things they do. This is all real important part of developing your character. So don't be afraid to come in here and play, and you kind of get the pressure of other players watching you, so it kind of amps you up just a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? So that's a good thing. You want to put pressure on yourself when you're learning. Not too much pressure, but you do want to put some pressure on yourself. So we're not going to stay in here. I just want to show this is where you want to be. King of the Hill lobby. That's also a good practice mode as far as practicing your character. Okay, so now as far as ranked online, I would save ranked online until I are real comfortable with the game, but it's basically just playing somebody one time and you don't get a rematch unless the computer just happens to put you back together with that person for a second time. But you will find the very best players in rank. It's supposed to match you up according to your skill level, so that could actually be a good thing. So you can try rank, but I would stick to the versus rooms when they're first starting off and King of the Hill. I recommend those as far as practicing and getting to really, getting a feel for how your character works against other people. Remember, guys, it's very important to play against other people. Don't be afraid to do that. And I don't recommend playing a computer for practice. Now, if you want to play just to like earn the titles from the towers or whatever, that's fine. I do it for that. But I don't do it as far as like really trying to practice. You want to practice against live targets. That's real important, guys. So let's just remember that. Keep that in mind. Okay, guys. So we're going to start to wrap the tutorial up now. We're going to go over some basic strategies for when you actually do start to get out there and get yourself in some fights. Point number 1. Look for patterns in your opponent. Everybody has something that they do, a key, a tail, some type of pattern they do when they fight. They jump a lot. They like to uppercut after they run up. There's something you can look for that's going to give you a key to that, to defeating that opponent. So just look for those things that'll help you in the long run. Point number 2, don't jump all the time. You see a lot of new players, their only way of getting around the board is they jump. Do not be one of these players. Learn to walk at your opponent, learn to run at your opponent, and mix that up with the jumping. When you jump all the time and people realize you jump all the time, you're just telegraphing what you're going to do, and you're going to get knocked out of the air by uppercut, or even worse, you're going to catch a full combo. So try not to jump all the time. Try to mix up your approaches. Number 3, defense is just as important as offense. If you do not block, you will not win. You will hear a lot of guys say, well, I just don't like to block. Blocking is not my thing. When you hear a player say that, you're talking to a player that's not very good. Everybody has to block sometimes. It's not always your turn to push a button. So just understand, you need to work on your defense just as much as your offense, if not more, especially when you first starting out. Number 4, and this is just the key thing, at the end of round 1, remember round 1 is the only round where you don't have to be winning, because you're going to get a second round regardless. If you in round 1 it's a lost cause, either way, either you're dominating or the other person's dominating, you don't see a comeback happening, save your meter. Don't be with like 5% health left and the other guy's got 90% health and you do your X-ray move. Don't do that. Hold on to your meter, because you can make the comeback in round 2 and you want to have some meter in order to make that comeback. So don't be blowing up your meter if it's a lost cause. Just something to kind of look for at the end of round 1. And if you're up big, don't waste your meter killing the guy. Just kill the guy with a normal move. Don't waste your meter. It's not worth it. So just kind of something to look out for. And number 5, this is real important. You need to understand that all characters, moves, and strategies are countable and defendable. Nothing in this game is unstoppable. Okay, and that can be a real big point for some people. You can get frustrated when you start to get beat by people, but just understand, if you hang in and you learn and you go back to practice mode and you work on some things, everything can be defended. Nothing is uncountable in this game. You just have to learn what to do. So those are 5 points I want to make as far as that goes. Alright guys, so this is pretty much going to wrap up the tutorial video. Just want to say some last things. The practice time in your practice mode, I recommend you practice at least an hour on each character before you take them online. You need to lock in those combos, guys. I know it seems like a long time, but the more you practice and the more you commit to things, the muscle memory, the better you'll be. And it works for all the concepts we talked about. So that's my recommended practice time, but it's going to kind of take it at your own pace. But understand that you're not going to be great day 1 playing any character. You're going to get out there, you're going to get your butt whooped, and you're going to come back and you're going to be better for it when you come back to practice mode and work on those things. So that's pretty much it, guys. I just want to say I had a great time making this video. I hope you learned something, anything. That means that I actually did my job. This was a lot of fun. Like I said, please leave feedback in the comment section. Leave a like on the video if I helped you at all. If you have any questions, please also leave a like, leave a comment. Let me know something I missed, something I skipped over. And now, don't get me wrong, I know there's a lot more advanced concepts that I skipped over. You know, we didn't go over anything like run cancels or, you know, any of the real advanced, you know, standing resets, you know, anything like that. We didn't go over stuff like that, those real advanced techniques. But maybe we will in a later video. But as of right now, like I said, I just want to thank you guys. And I hope you learned something. Leave a comment, leave a like. And my name is NealSoul, and I will see you guys later on.